Okay, let's go to the high-speed SportsWire Del Mar Pacific Classic at the top.
Oh, I like horse racing. Love Del Mar. This is so cool. Pacific Classic is Saturday afternoon. Journalism, one of the great 3-year-olds, has not run all the Triple Crown races. Journalism is going to run here late Saturday afternoon in the $1 Million Pacific Classic Field of 8. Preakness winner, Haskell Stakes winner. So you got Journalism, you've got Fierceness, who finished last year second in the Breeders' Cup Classic, coming in as a 4-year-old. That's going to be a great challenger. And you got another Baffin horse, Nios. So those are 3 big names, but Journalism is the one to watch in the Pacific Classic. Let's talk golf. This is quite a story. Keegan Bradley, who's had himself collectively, I think, one of the better years on the Pro Tour of his entire career. He is the captain of the Ryder Cup team, and the captain gets to make 6 choices to fill out the roster aside from the other guys who already have qualified of where they finished in the point standings. Keegan Bradley had the chance to put himself on the team, and he bypassed it. He said, no, I'm not going to do it. My responsibility as a captain. And the captain has a lot of things he has to do in terms of studying the matchups, the courses, and who to match against the Euros. He's decided not to play. There's only been one playing captain. It was in 1963. It was Arnold Palmer. So Keegan Bradley, and the guys were pushing, saying, you've had a great year. You deserve to be on this as a playing captain. He said, no, I'm not going to do it. So he went off in a different direction. He named Justin Thomas, who's had a good back half of the season. Colin Morikawa will join as a captain's choice, and Patrick Cantlay, who obviously had that phenomenal finish in the championships this past week. So those guys are going to play, filling out the rest of the roster there. Auto racing, Formula One. If you make a U-turn in the middle of the highway, you can get arrested, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cadillac F1, which is the new team that's being formed, going to run in 2026, they had told everybody for a full calendar year, we will hire a name European driver and we will hire an American. We want to develop American drivers and bring them over to F1. This week, they did a U-turn. They signed Sergio Perez out of Mexico and Val Bottas out of Finland. Between them, those 2 veteran drivers have won 16 races on F1. They bypassed Colton Herta, who's probably the most qualified young American maybe to go to F1. Now, Herta does not have what they call a super license. You have to have a super license, which means you test all this, you've got some experience, and you have to pass all these tests to get your super license. He's not at that point yet. And Cadillac decided, we're not going to make this an experimental season. We want to be as competitive as we can. It's hard enough to begin. Ground zero, new chassis, Ferrari engines, new team. It's really hard. He said, we're going to try to make this faster in terms of growth, and we're going to bring Perez in and bring Valtteri Bottas in. So those are the 2 guys. Now there's a report that Colton Herta is going to go to Europe and is going to negotiate with an F2 team, which is the second level down.
Okay.
To try to run and go through his learning curve in F2 and qualify for a super license there.
Okay.
So that kind of bears watching. But this was a stunner because Cadillac had said, we want an American flag on the grid, and it's not going to happen there. How hard is it? Tell you what, I just found this out. Team Haas, which is the other American team, has been in F1 since 2006. F1. They don't have a podium. They don't have a win. They've never been in the top 3. They started from absolute ground zero, just like Cadillac is starting from ground zero. That's how hard it is to win in F1 against the Mercedes and the Ferraris and the Red Bulls, etc. So, I'm not speaking your language.
No. It kind of confirms what we know about F1, because if you don't get the pole position, it's hella hard to pass.
Yeah, and you get on the grid, it's hard to finish in the top 3 in the podium. Think about that. Team Haas, which has got big bankroll, has never been on a podium.
Well, it's always Team Red Bull and Mercedes and, the same old guys.
You give me that dumbass look like you didn't know what language I was speaking.
No, I was just thinking about it. Yeah.
Okay. Last topic on the table, Team USA. He's coming. Christian Pulisic will be here on Monday. Christian Pulisic will lead an entourage of veteran players that will come for September week workouts with Team USA before they get ready to play South Korea and Japan in the next group of friendlies. Pulisic will be there. Gio Reyna will be there. Tim Weah. Sergio Dest, who's coming off injury, will be there. They brought back the Mexican-American Alejandro Zendejas. They've just brought back Josh Sargent, who's had a blazing start in the English Premier League. He's agreed to use this window to come practice with Team USA, on top of, obviously, all the young guys who played. Now, there are some injury guys who are not going to be on the pitch next week with Team USA. Fobologan is still not totally recovered. Malik Tillman is not recovered. Anthony Robinson is coming off surgery, and Haji Wright's been hurt. But they will have almost the full complement of American players as they begin this practice window to get ready for the friendlies against South Korea and Japan. So all the hellacious things that were written and said about Christian Pulisic have been now swept aside because these guys are going to come here. And one last soccer note. Manchester United. You hear about this? English Premier League?
Yeah.
Okay. So Manchester United spent an unbelievable amount, $193 million in transfer fees to rebuild their team. They finished 16th last year in the standings, which is almost relegation.
Yeah.
So they've tried to fix it. So they're 0-3 out of the gate. They played their first game against Arsenal in the first game of the Premier League and played really well and almost beat them. But now they've lost 2 in a row. They played in what's called the English Cup this middle of this week. They lost to a team called Grimsby. Grimsby is in League 2, which is the equivalent of AA.
Yeah.
Grimsby beat Man U in the English Cup, beat him in a 13-man shootout. They were there forever, taking penalty shots at the end of the game. They beat Manchester United. That would be the equivalent of the San Antonio Missions AA Farm Club coming to Petco Park and beating the Padres.
Or maybe like Appalachian State beating the Wolverines.
Yeah, in language you would understand.
Yeah.
They are beside themselves north of London in Manchester, England. They're going crazy that Manchester United could lose to Grimsby. Grimsby is a small fishing village up in the northeast corner of England that plays in League 2, which is the equivalent of AA soccer. Just amazing.
Grimsby sounds like something out of a Harry Potter movie.
You got it.
You know, it's just like Gryffindor. I think that's what I'm probably thinking about.
I apologize to everybody for really reaching for a unique and different topic here.
No, it's good. It's good. You know, and the whole Pulisic thing almost seemed like an unnecessary drama, but it's nice to get him back. But, you know, one of the players, you know, of the C, D, and E level players that were on Team USA was Diego Luna. Mm-hmm. And he was scoring some goals, you know, in the Gold Cup. Have you heard anything? Is he going to make the squad?
I don't know if he's on. I haven't seen his name on this roster. There were a couple guys who were left off this roster, so I've not seen his name on this September roster. Every time they get into a training period where you can bring your players back from their international club, they put out the list of invitees. I don't think he was on this last list that I saw.
That's too bad. I mean, some of these guys, I think they deserve a shot. The Cadillac racing thing was interesting to me. I mean, because yeah, you say you want to have an American driver, and I get it, you know, but yeah, they deserve the right to change their mind, you know, especially if it's not kind of working out the way they want. But that's always been this thing about America teams or American drivers in F1. So we'll see how it all sorts out. But I like his strategy. Go to F2 and work your way up. The Del Mar, that Del Mar Pacific Classic logo, look at that.
Yep.
That's cool. I mean, not only you got the blue there to kind of represent the surf and the turf, but it's a cool blue, just like the Del Mar is as cool as ever, right? You know, so that looks like a knight on a chess piece.
Yes.
You know, so that is a slick looking logo. Hopefully the Pacific Classic lives up to that.
Well, it probably will. I think journalism is such a power horse. I don't know if anybody's going to beat journalism. But this is the scene setter. This is the preview for what's going to happen in November when the Breeders' Cup Classic comes here. Because then you've got all the Triple Crown horses are going to be here. And as long as journalism doesn't have any setbacks, journalism can be in the field. The Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar is going to be unbelievable.
I mean, yeah, that's huge.
Yes.
And it was interesting. I mean, when I was learning about horse racing, moving down here to San Diego, you didn't get a sense of like what was the major league tracks and what were the sort of the minor league tracks. But then because I always think of, Preakness and the Kentucky Derby, but there used to be in Southern California, Del Mar, Santa Anita, and Hollywood were the three big ones, but Hollywood's gone, right?
Right. And then Golden Gate shut down in San Francisco. I mean, horse racing has gone through a crush.
Yeah, but it's cool to see that Del Mar still is legit. You got Bing Crosby out there and Jimmy Durrani and all those like throwbacks to the past.
Oh, there's so much tradition. You just walk around that track and I mean, it's beautiful. It's unbelievable. But you walk around the track, the tradition and the history, it's really something. Okay, this podcast is brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. You got projects, they got materials. You want ideas, they can be your best friend. Dixieline Lumber. Just go to Dixieline.com, see all the things they have to offer.